I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Mariol, and today I'm going to be sharing life-changing books to read in 2025. So if you want to make your dreams a reality in 2025, these are the books I would suggest you read in the coming year to make your dreams a reality and accomplish all your goals. As a neuropsychologist with a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD, I've certainly read more than the average person. And on top of my nerdy, insatiable appetite for knowledge, my journey as a mindfulness expert and an entrepreneur has led me to read even more so I can gain more knowledge and more know-how. In fact, me and my husband read so much. We have books in every room. We have to have a bookshelf, and we even have a dedicated room that we call our library to house our overflow of books. So I'm saying all that to say you can trust you're in the right hands to give you the best suggestions to really make 2025 your best year yet. Let's jump in. What if the key to achieving your goals in 2025 isn't about doing more or getting more done, but thinking differently? Studies show that 70% of adults experience some kind of imposter syndrome or self-doubt that impacts their ability to pursue opportunities and to pursue their dreams. And that's because fear and uncertainty have this sneaky way of stopping us in our tracks before we even start. They make us feel stuck, they make us feel small, and sometimes that can lead to us not feeling good enough to actually go after what it is that we want. Without the right mindset, even the best strategies can fall apart. And that's because it's really important to build a strong, resilient, confident foundation when you are goal getting. So let's explore how this first category of books can help you build the foundation you need to reach your goals from the inside out. And yes, I know the title said 3 books, but I do have like 7 for you, but I put them into 3 categories, which was just too complicated to put in the title. So let's dive into this first category, which is my mindset books that are going to help you have the best year yet in 2025. First up is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Let me start by reading you an inspirational quote, one of my favorite quotes from the book. Feel the fear and do it anyway. The only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is to go out and do it. So this book really is a motivational guide to help you overcome fear and overcome self-doubt. The author helps you face challenges, shift your mindset, and take on fears and anxiety that come with a lot of ambitious folks by tackling your thoughts and your actions in order to feel the fear and do it anyway. So overall, it's kind of a guide to helping you realize that fear is an inevitable part of the process, especially if you are a goal getter, but it doesn't have to stop you. So let me share with you some really tangible lessons and takeaways that I think will be helpful for ambitious women, and that really helps me. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this book. The first one is that fear is a sign of growth, actually, and a sign of stepping out of your comfort zone. It's a catalyst to get you to do that. If you are someone who is ambitious, who is an entrepreneur, or just a goal getter in general, you know that achieving those next areas of success, achieving that next level of success often requires, if not always requires, some evolution of yourself. You are on a constant journey of becoming and evolving. And if we just stayed in our comfort zone that entire time, we would never break through as like the butterfly does out of their cocoon and get uncomfortable to reach that next level. And fear is just like a signal that that is starting to happen for you, that this is a stage in your life, a stage in your journey that is calling for you to push past discomfort and to evolve into something better to get what it is you want. Because many times when we are setting out for big goals, big dreams, we do have to change things about ourselves, and those come in a lot of forms of fear when we are facing that discomfort that comes with changing, right? Good example of this for me is when I started my first business. I actually remember where I was. I was still in the ideation phase, and all of a sudden I was overcome with this intense feeling of self-doubt and who do you think you are, and this is going to be so embarrassing, you're going to put yourself out there to start this business. And I was sitting in a castle in France. I remember, so ironically, I was on vacation with my boyfriend at the time, and I just had this revelation that yeah, maybe it isn't going to work, maybe I am crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. I hadn't read this book yet, but I had read it shortly after, but that was something that I feel ties in directly with the message of this book, which was, yeah, it's going to be there. And I was still anxious while I did it, but I did start that business, and it was a critical part of my journey and part of my path to becoming who I am today. Had I never, pushed past that or listened to that voice and or even expected it to go away, I would never have gotten to where I am today with my current business. So that's the first key important lesson, is that fear is this signal that you are usually at a precipice of discomfort that you need to push through in order to become who you need to be to achieve what you want. Another thing is confidence grows through action, not through avoidance. This is something as a neuropsychologist I have learned in many different areas. So and when it comes to building self-esteem, you don't do that through affirmations or building your self-esteem or your confidence. You do that through something called esteemable acts. Those are those actions that you can be proud of. Those are those ways that you keep promises to yourself that builds that self-esteem. And in the same way, when it comes to fear and confidence, building courage, you're not going to do that by avoiding the fear, by avoiding the anxiety. You're going to build that confidence in yourself and your ability to face these things by proving to yourself that you can do it. And that takes with small steps of, even if you have to carry that fear in the background, doing it anyway in the service of what's most important to you. What are your values? So really thinking about, okay, how can I push myself not to avoid things because I'm afraid, but how can I carry it with me? Maybe I get therapy or support or accountability or whatever case may be that you need to hold that anxiety in the background while you push forward to what's most important to you. Those are also tenets of things like acceptance and commitment therapy, radical acceptance, things that I talk about a lot on this channel. And this book kind of sums it up in a very user-friendly way that's not so, even though she is a PhD as well, that's not so heavily bogged down with psychology jargon like some of those other things I just mentioned. The next one is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. This book is so incredibly good. It is by the creator of the brand Nike. And it essentially is a book that is about resilience, it's about leadership, and it's about following your passions. I picked this book for this category of the mind because of the resilience factor and his story. He essentially talks about founding the brand that started off as Blue Ribbon and the whole entire journey of twists and turns and push through that he had to go through to build this phenomenal brand. And it's just one of those memoirs and those stories that will leave you feeling inspired. And it also, especially if you're an ambitious person who has a lot of goals for 2025, it kind of makes you realize that this next year is just one piece in the puzzle. Like I said, there's twists and turns, and your journey isn't always going to be as expected. What's important is to take the lessons when you can, maneuver, be flexible, and to persevere. So let me talk to you guys about some of my favorite lessons that I think would apply to you as a goal getter in 2025. The first one is to embrace risk and really trust the process, because success is rarely linear. Like when we think about success, especially when we set out to do our goals at the beginning of the year, we set these goals and we think it's going to be like this. But usually the way life is, it's more like this, and that's definitely demonstrated in this story. So really taking the time to trust the process and really lean into taking risks, because sometimes we get stuck through our limiting beliefs or past experiences that make us really fearful and doubt, that don't want to put ourselves out there. And when it comes to reaching our goals, it's important to recheck some of that stuff that has accumulated over the years, some of that fear, maybe some of those limiting beliefs that you maybe have developed because things didn't always work out, and really do the conscious work to push through those so that you can be in a place to still take risks and go after what you want from the eyes of flexibility, radical acceptance, and perseverance. And along those lines, one of the things that I really took away from this book is staying true to your passion, staying true to your values, even when things seem uncertain. So the path to getting to where he got this brand, Nike, was wrought with unpredictable events in life circumstances. And one of the things that I really appreciated in the story was the adherence to values, and that was the thread. So even when you don't know what's coming, that sticking to what you believe in, sticking to what you value, what you trust in, that's going to be what's most helpful in getting you to that success. And that's something that I've taken and applied to my own journey as well, and that I hope helps you. Okay, so let's move on. Once your mind is in the right place, it's time to turn your dreams into actions. What if you could get more done in less time and actually feel less stressed? Do you ever feel you're not getting anywhere even though you're super busy? The problem may not be your effort, it might be your system. So without clear goals, action plans, and a way to stay accountable, it's easy to be spinning your wheels and actually not be getting any closer to reaching your goals. These next books are going to give you the tools you need to actually take control of your time, your task, and your results. Let's dive into these next books, which are all about actions. The next book is Getting Things Done by David Allen, and let me read you one of my favorite quotes. Use your mind to think about things rather than think of them. You want to be adding value as you think about projects and people, not simply reminding yourself that they exist. So this book is all about creating a productivity and really external organization system so that you can get more done. It really teaches you to capture everything in your mind, reduce that mental load, creating that external system, and then really a manageable step-by-step process to get things and tasks and projects done in your life. So it's really practical, one of those books that's really tangible to help you come up with a way to just be more productive in your life. The byline is The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. Let me talk to you a little bit about some of the key takeaways that I think might help you in your journey as a goal getter in 2025. So while this book, a key takeaway is really reducing your mental load, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more with the next book, but this book really gives you a way to stay aligned with your tasks. Those are all your to-do items, all those little things that you want to get done, and stay on top of your priorities. So it's a really straightforward book that I think everyone should read. I have a video on my channel that dives into depth into this book, so I won't go too far, but it's definitely one that I had to mention. On that note, moving on, I also have a deep dive into this system on my channel, Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. This book, the subtitle is A Proven Method to Organize Your Digital Life and Unlock Your Creative Potential. Let me read you one of my favorite quotes from this book. Your brain is for having ideas, not holding on to them. So one of the things that I love about this book is it really talks about the impact of mental load on our creativity and our productivity. And it gives us a way to create a digital system for organizing our life that helps take off that mental load. In the book, he does talk about being inspired by the previous book that I just showed you, Getting Things Done, and really diving deeper into an organizational system that helps us organize for actionability. Like I said, I do have a deep dive video on my channel about this that I'll put in the description, but essentially he teaches us a way to create a digital system. I also have a Notion Second Brain template that I'll link below that you can use and just plug and play, but it helps you organize for actionability by organizing by your task, your projects, your life areas, your resources, and any archive items. And this has been something since I started implementing in my life that has been such a game changer. These two books really combined. I use more of this with my Notion Second Brain in my project management software, and I use this kind of as a whole system and how I engage with my productivity system, mainly in my weekly review and also in my paper planner. I use these two books, the systems in these two books combined. And really the main takeaway from this book was learning how to capture and organize my ideas so that I can focus on execution, not holding everything in my brain. As a mom, a neuropsychologist, a wife, a friend, a daughter, all the things, content creator, business owner, there's so much on your mind. And so now having a system that I don't feel so overwhelmed with trying to keep up with everything or post-it notes everywhere, that has been a game changer. And I guarantee if you implement the system for yourself, it will definitely be a game changer for you as well. Okay, the next book up that I talk a lot on my channel about is The 12th Week Year, get more done in 12 weeks than most do in 12 months. So let me read you my favorite quote from this book, or one of my favorite ones. I do talk about this book a lot, so I have a few quotes that I like, but I think this one kind of sums up the gist of the book a lot. We mistakenly believe that there's a lot of time left in the year, and we act accordingly. We lack a sense of urgency, not realizing that every week is important, every day is important, every moment is important. Ultimately, effective execution happens daily and weekly. So this book here is about how to achieve your goals in 12 weeks. It includes a system of how to come up with a vision and talks about the importance of that, important pitfalls in creating your vision, talks about how to create those larger goals like 5-10 year goals, midterm goals, but more specifically, it dives deep into coming up with those quarterly goals and an action plan to achieve them. So the premise of the book is really reverse goal setting, and also doing it in a way that you reconceptualize the year. Instead of thinking annually, you're going to start thinking in periods, and this is going to help you reach your goals much faster. I do have a deeper dive into this book, like I mentioned here on the channel, and I also have a 12-week year Notion template that you can check out if you want to implement the system. And inside also includes like a summary breakdown of the book, so you always have those tenets to go back to. If you're interested, I'll link it below. One of the key takeaways that I think that you'll take from this book is really breaking down your goals into those tactics and those SMART goals, and really making sure that you're checking it weekly, reviewing it for accountability. One of the big pieces in the book is the 12-week year scorecard. I feel like since I've started doing this just on a weekly basis, tracking how am I doing with those actions that I said I was going to do to reach my goals, has really 10x the speed at which I achieve goals and how focused I stay. So I've always had like a planning strategy, goal getting strategy, but having this system has kind of just amped it up and 10x'd it. So these 3 books in combination really can give you the tactical strategies that you need to reach your goals, and give you that system to not feel like you have overwhelm and mental clutter on the way to getting it done. I have videos on my channel on all 3 of these books, so I'll leave it there and we'll talk about the next section. So you got the mindset, you're taking action. Now, how do you stay grounded through it all so that you can make sure you're staying consistent to actually reach your goals in 2025? Let's talk about that in our next section, which is spirit. In the pursuit of big goals, it can be easy to lose sight of really what's most important to us, which is our peace and our purpose. And without these, even the biggest achievements can sometimes feel hollow, which is why I want to offer you this next set of books to really help you stay aligned with your peace, stay aligned with your purpose, and be more fulfilled as you go on that journey to making 2025 your best year. The first one is Just One Thing, Developing a Buddha Brain One Simple Practice at a Time. Let me read you a quote from this book that you might find helpful. It says, the little things you do every day add up over time to reshape your brain. So this is written by Rick Hansen, who's the author of Buddha Brain and Hardwiring Happiness. This is kind of like the journal companion to building a Buddha's brain. So every day, and I've gone through this a lot, it gives you these simple practices that you can do to help you build neural pathways and neural connections. That's how you kind of rewire your brain for happiness, to experience joy and peace. And it's all based on neuroscience, mindfulness techniques, and psychology. He's also a psychologist. So let me show you the parts in here. There's 11 parts. I'll read a few of them. Taking in the good was one of my favorite ones. Slowing down, nourishing your brain, protecting your brain, seeing the good in yourself, relaxing, having compassion for yourself. And all these exercises and little prompts in here help you do that one day at a time. And it's called Just One Thing. So one thing per day. And I just find this book so helpful, so useful. It's really loved on, as you can see. And I've recommended it to so many of my clients. And the main takeaways, the reasons why it's helped me, and I think it will help you, is it teaches you to build habits one day at a time, one thing at a time, that change the chemistry of your brain through mindfulness, mindfulness and different psychology prompts. And these small, consistent changes is what helps you build those new neural pathways over time so that you can go through and pursue your goals, pursue your dreams from a more stress-free, mindful stance. So I think this is one of those books, if you're new to mindfulness or you're trying to get it more in practice or really train your brain to be more positive and to be more courageous, confident, all those things, definitely check out Just One Thing by Dr. Rick Hanson. Okay, the next one is 100 Days of Believing Bigger, and this is a devotional journal. This was recommended to me, I believe initially by also a fellow YouTuber here, Trey Michelle, I think is her YouTube name, Trinica Reigns. She recommended this book in a group that I was in, and it is phenomenal. And the reason that I actually ended up getting it was shortly after she recommended it. I saw the author of this journal on a podcast, and the author is Marshawn Evans Daniels. Phenomenally smart, brilliant woman of color. Just hearing her speak, I was like, okay, I really got it. I had already purchased it, but then I was like, I gotta dive into it because it was just kind of sitting there because I also have another devotional journal. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so grateful for that synchronicity because I have found it really helpful. Let me read you one of the quotes from this book. Your purpose is greater than your pain, and your promise is bigger than your problems. I think journaling is really valuable for entrepreneurs, for ambitious folks, whoever is out there goal getting watching this video. But sometimes you can be there with blank paper and like, okay, what do I do? So this is a journal. One of the key takeaways for me is helping you build your faith and staying connected to that faith on a more daily basis versus just reading the Bible. So it does come with scriptures, and then it comes with like a detailed kind of motivational inspiration passage, and then it has the journal's prompts and the space for you to write in, and then also a little prayer. So it's really a tool for personal transformation and strengthening your faith, staying connected to your purpose, and it's something that will kind of give you that spirit fedness that you need, that spiritual nutrition you need as you're on that journey and going through the daily motions. I think it's good to have tools that support also your faith and believing and overcoming those limiting beliefs that sometimes come up as we're going after our goals. So I do have some runner-ups that I wanted to share with you that I didn't put in the video, but I think are worthy and you may have heard of. Atomic Habits is one, and also two others are Good with Money by Tiffany, I think Adichie, but just type it in. It's a woman of color. In Amazon, you'll find it. Good with Money. I'll link all of these below too. And then Essentialism, especially if you find that you're one of those multi-passionate people that can get distracted on your journey of goal getting. Essentialism is a good one. And I would also like to hear your suggestions below. What are some books that you think are life-changing and must-reads for 2025 that I don't have on the list? Please put those below. As I said, I love to read and I would love to hear from you guys. And then also one of the books that I think doesn't get enough clout on this platform of YouTube is Building a Second Brain. And it's so important and can really transform your life. I'm gonna link to that one now because I just think it's so helpful. The video I did on a deep dive of the book Building a Second Brain and how to implement it for yourself for you to watch next. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.